Hello, welcome to From the Backseat. I am your host, Ethan Haas, and sadly today I am not joined by my co-host, Clark Farrenthal, which is a tragedy. But on the flip side, I got two amazing guests here. So I got the check down. And so Chandler and David, can you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Um, I'll just go off real quick. Yeah, Chandler, host for What's a Checkdown. Biggest thing about us is that we played football together throughout high school. I was his quarterback. I interviewed him one day and I said, "Let's start a football podcast." He said, "Let's do that." So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah, and I'm David. Not much to say about me. I enjoy talking football, and Chandler asked me to start talking football with him, so that's how we kind of got together on that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So where can our fans find you guys?
Pretty much everywhere: Spotify, Apple iTunes, podcast, YouTube. Biggest one, TikTok, obviously, Instagram as well. What's the Checkdown with Chandler and David? Our handle is at What's the Checkdown on all platforms as well. Pretty much a little bit about our show as we do some hot takes. We go over our biggest thing the past couple months has been going over every division, in the conference, going over seedings in the playoffs, and we're doing a top 20 list right now. Quarterbacks for myself, and then David's going through his top 20 running backs in the NFL.
Awesome. Have you guys picked Super Bowl picks yet?
Chandler
Not yet.
Chandler actually made a or not hot take, but he's doubled down last year with the Rams. He's doubled down on his Rams pick as repeating Super Bowl winners. I have not picked anyone yet. I will stay away from that for a while, but Chandler definitely has.
All right. Wait, so you picked the Rams before last season?
I had a clip. I did a podcast a long time ago where I went when Matthew Stafford was traded. I did it the day after, and I did a podcast, and I'm like, listen, this is it. Like this is Matt Stafford playing for the Rams. Sean McVay has his poster child. Sean McVay has everyone he needs. So be ready for this. I know this Rams are gonna be able to make it back to the Super Bowl, and I expect them to win it. And sure enough, they did. I guess it's my one call of my history. I can retire going 1-for-1.
Well, let me ask you. Speaking of the Super Bowl, so everyone always talks about the Joe Burrow was so bad in the playoffs. What do you guys think of that take? Do you feel like Joe Burrow was a subpar quarterback, or do you think the criticism is a little too tough?
Uh, I'll go first on this one. I definitely think that's way too tough. Being a second year, technically first year quarterback, and going taking your team all the way to the Super Bowl. I don't care about your numbers. You did something right, and you played above average in order to get your team there. In like even if you didn't put up crazy numbers, I would say that like you would have to at least manage the game properly enough to get your team to the Super Bowl. They did get a lot of breaks, and I've heard that take a lot is that they got way too many breaks in order to get to the Super Bowl. But you've got to be good to be lucky. So there's no way you could say that he is not like inching into that top 10 for quarterbacks.
He's not in your top 10.
Me?
I think he's
Oh.
in.
Oh.
I would hope he's in Chandler's top 10.
I don't know. Is he? Yes, he is.
We'd
We
have
haven't
some
gotten there yet.
issues. We'd have some issues
We
if
haven't
he
we
did.
haven't done it yet. We've gotten
Oh,
up to
okay.
11th. We haven't done our 10 through 6, which is our next one. But
Oh,
he
okay.
is
I
in
was
my
about to
top
say,
10.
whoa,
No,
Burrow's.
he's in my top 10 for
Oh
sure,
yeah.
like no doubt.
So
Okay.
can I compare him to one person, and this will kind of put in perspective of 1985. Dan Marino made it to playoffs after being the MVP of the season. It was the second year. He was first round pick, and he took the Miami Dolphins, who were in the top picking in that 1984 draft. I think that went eighth overall or something like that. Joe Burrow is in his second year with a still rebuilding team. He got sacked 9 times in a divisional round, and they still won the game. If you're getting sacked 9 times in a game, your team isn't doing so great. Granted, he does have a top 5 receiver on his team, and I will say that Jamar Chase is a top 5 receiver, and he's going to be the best route runner going into this year. It's not even a hot take. Watch the game, and you'll see. But everyone else around him, they can't block for him. So if you're going to say Joe Burrow isn't out there outperforming what he should, Baker Mayfield's on his way out. He was a first overall pick. I think that Joe Burrow's already surpassed him. Give you an idea of it.
Okay, so I don't want to pry into your QB list a little bit, but
No, you're good.
but I gotta ask you, where do you stand on the Herbert versus Burrow argument? Who do you
Ooh,
think is
that's-
the superior quarterback?
Without going into it, I think Herbert has the better physical talent.
Okay.
So just like straight arm talent and his legs and everything, he doesn't have a torn ACL, so he still has that to his advantage. But physicality, definitely Herbert at this point in their career.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't consider myself a quarterback whisperer or anything, but I think Joe Burrow will end up having more Super Bowls, if anything, than Justin Herbert does. Mainly because of the organization that they're in, and I know the Chargers are in LA now. You know, like they kind of have to compete with that, like with the Rams on like players and all the other type out like region type stuff. So I don't think the Raiders will be, or the Chargers will be able to, one, overcome their like really tough division, and two, I don't like their coach so much. So I'm very
Oh,
much
really?
like, yeah, I think he's very much a big analytics guy, and like to his detriment. And I think that might be to the detriment of Justin Herbert.
You're
But
not an analytics fan?
I am to a very like.
You are talking to a baseball guy. I want you to know that. So
No.
analytics really
like,
changed that game.
Wait. Let me put it into perspective. I think analytics is very important, especially moving forward with the way football is going. Very, very important. But you have to feel the game as well, and like kind of go with how like he had one play where he went for it on fourth down, I think maybe twice, and one was like in their
Their own
like,
18-yard line.
yeah, on their own 18 yards. I'm like, you got to know when to just say no to analytics. Like it's all good and well to use analytics, but if it becomes to your detriment, then I don't know. I can't really rock with that, you know.
It was like that one high school coach back in the day that never kicked on.
That never
down.
punted,
He always
yeah,
went
like-
for it, and then he got to college football. He won his first 2 games and lost his next 11 or something like
Yeah,
that.
it gives off that same vibe, which is like, I don't know. I'm sure, obviously, he probably learned from that mistake, and I don't anticipate him going for it on his own 18 again next year. But it just, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way, and ever since, I'm just not as high on the Chargers as I used to be.
Interesting. No, I totally understand that take. I am totally about analytics. I mean, you got to take it when it works, and you got to take the L's when it loses. I mean, the Chargers, as much as they were 9-8, Justin Herbert is the first quarterback since 2001 to have a winning record with a defense in a bottom 3 scoring defense.
Yeah.
So that achievement by itself is just already crazy, and Brandon Staley was able to navigate that. I love the analytics approach. I think analytics are here to stay in the NFL. I think John Harbaugh
same.
showed that they worked, and John Harbaugh continues to use them. I mean, Zach Taylor used them in the playoff run when he beat the Chiefs. So they're going to stay. I love analytics, but I totally understand the take that Staley's a little bit too aggressive about it.
Yeah, and to be fair, and like I think Justin Herbert talent wise is like, I don't know if I can even say that he compare, like Joe Burrow can compare talent wise. I think Justin Herbert's like on a whole nother level, and I categorize him in that like Mahomes, like Josh Allen type like talent pool. Obviously, Joe Burrow is still a great talent, but he's just like right under that for me. But I just think that like the way they one, he plays in a division where the defenses are always great, and like even if they're maybe not the Ravens, but they always have the Steelers to contend with, and like that, I think those two teams themselves always have like good teams, and he's always gonna be playing great competition. And I guess we'll see with Herbert and this new division that like how it's looking with their division now. But for me, I just think something about Joe Burrow tells me that he's gonna have at least 2 or 3 Super Bowls. So, and I don't know. It's very hard to win a Super Bowl. So we'll see with Justin Herbert.
No, for sure. So let me get into you guys. So You mentioned earlier you guys were on the same high school football team, but how did what the Checkdown actually come together?
So I interviewed David for another thing I was doing, and it was about players going through college, school, and all that, and their mental health and what they had. And David had a very interesting story that it was hard on him. He wasn't even able to play on U of A, University of Alberta, his first year, just because the school was so stressful and everything. So he pretty much took the year off from football, and I got to understand that story. And I think it's really important to understand the mental health of players. It's very important, especially with what we're going through in today's games in any sport. And after it, we both started talking football a little bit. I'm like, I've always wanted to have a true NFL football podcast. It's my most covered sport that I do. I love all sports, but I just love the NFL. David, do you want to start one? He's like, you know what? I'll buy a microphone. Sure enough, he bought a microphone, and we started up, and we're 20 episodes in next couple weeks. So it's been fun, and I'm glad he's been my co-host since then.
Aw, thanks, Chandler.
Don't tell him that though.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
I'll edit out that part.
Yeah.
So then my next question for you guys is, you guys are pretty prominent on TikTok. You guys are posting a lot. Obviously, that's where Clark and I are biggest. So we deal with hate comments a lot. Is there any kind of hate comment that you've just kind of looked at and you've like laughed at? Like anything that doesn't really get.
I'll just let Chandler take this one. I
have a running
Need to
joke.
say anything.
I don't think David's even notices this yet. Like my last 4 or 5, because I post a lot of the TikTok stuff just because I record and everything. On my last 4 or 5 TikToks I posted, I put a hashtag DKB. And see, now
I've noticed it.
Okay, and that hashtag means don't know ball.
Oh,
because our number one comment when there is hate, there's no context to it, is don't know ball. Like, these guys just don't know ball, or he doesn't know ball. Like, as in, it is the say all be all. Like, this person knows more than I do, no matter what, when they say this comment.
Oh, for sure. We get don't know ball all the time. We get it on baseball. We get it on football.
So
I also love L take. L take is my favorite.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The ones that just have no context to it. I had one where I had to make a video about it because I'm telling you right now, one of the teams I hate most in the NFL is the Miami Dolphins, and it's not because of the Dolphins, it's because of their fans. Because Miami fans think this team's gonna go out and go 17-0 and win the Super Bowl. Like, this person said that if you don't think the Miami Dolphins are gonna go 12-5, then you don't know ball. What?
Yeah.
No
context.
No context. The Miami Dolphins are gonna go 12-5, no doubt about it.
You don't know ball.
Chandler doesn't know any ball. That's why.
Obviously doesn't know ball. Tua better be in that top 10.
Definitely isn't. Definitely is not. Tua would be the bottom 30 if I actually had all the way down.
You have him below 30?
I would not. We went over this. Who I would start over Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh yeah, we did a whole thing on this.
I would, if you put Gardner Minshew on the Miami Dolphins, they'd be a playoff team over Tua Tagovailoa.
No way.
He's just any guy that played in Jacksonville
That's
and
not true.
had some kind of success.
Nick Foles wouldn't do anything.
Okay, fair enough.
But I don't like Tua. I don't think how he's thrown over 200 passing yards his entire career. He's just going to go out and blow up the league for 350 yards a game because he got Tyree Hill. He still can't hit the 70-yard down the field ball. It's not going to change because he got Tyree Hill. He didn't go do bicep curls and bench press all like summer long just to make a 70-yard pass down the middle.
Well, let me do a counterpoint. I'm not a Tua supporter, but I feel like I got to defend Tua a little bit because I definitely think he is better than Gardner Minshew. This is one stat about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had the least amount of explosive plays in 2020, the year he got hurt. Then in 2021, they went to the most explosive offense in the league, and he had the most explosive plays of any quarterback. Now, that isn't because of his arm strength improved. It's because Jamar Chase showed up.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase was able to take the ball that was thrown 40 yards and turn it into touchdowns. I think Tyreek Hill can have the same kind of effect for the Dolphins.
But my counter with that is Jalen Waddle.
What about Waddle?
Waddle can be a deep ball threat. Why isn't Tua able to hit him the same year that Jamar Chase comes out?
Well, but
and they
but how
have
about
Mike
this?
Gesicki. And if you look at Miami, they had Devontae Parker, they had Mike Gesicki, they had Jalen Waddle. They had 3 players better than what the Bengals had the year before with Joe Burrow.
No,
Because
I mean,
Burrow,
I get
I'm
where you're
just
coming
saying.
from. I just think moving Tua into the 49ers offense, the Shanahan scheme, where they're going to be running RPOs, they're going to be running quick action passing, it's going to move Tua to a much more functional offense than instead of having an offensive coordinator as his head coach. I mean, he had Brian Flores, who I loved Brian Flores as a head coach, and he probably should have kept his job. But I can't help but feel like the 49ers is going to, that offense, I mean, it's making Jimmy G into a winner. It's making all of these quarterbacks in the league into winners just because of the quick action RPO offense works for these kind of quick action passing. The one thing Tua has that he does have overall quarterback is he has one of the most accurate, how do I put this? Most accurate anticipation ball. There we go. He's able to anticipate throws and loft it over in a way that a lot of quarterbacks aren't. Even though the deep ball isn't there, he is able to use that kind of his game. Now, I'm going to come out and say Tyreek saying he's the most accurate quarterback in the league. Completely wrong. He is not the most accurate quarterback in the league. He's not more accurate than Mahomes. He's not even in the top 10. But he does have a really good anticipation part of his game. That's why he was drafted number 5 in the draft.
I have a question for you, real quick, Clark.
Yeah,
Or
sure.
Ethan, not Clark.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so you said you're a big analytics guy, right? You love
Yeah.
statistics. I just want to know if you know, and you might not know this off the top of your head. I don't know this. This is actually a real question.
For sure.
How many left-handed quarterbacks have made it in the NFL? Had longer than 5 years, I'd say, as a starting quarterback.
I would say 3. Mark Brunell.
Steve Young's the most.
Yeah, Steve
Young. Okay. Yeah.
And then who was the Bengals for a long time? He's a
I don't think
NFL announcer now. No, not Tim.
Oh,
no, he was
Boomer Esiason?
Yes, Boomer
Esiason. Was he left-handed?
Yep. I can look it up to make sure, but I'm pretty sure Boomer Esiason was left-handed.
No, I mean the other thing is, yeah, I thought the Chargers were gonna go all in on Tua into that draft. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I'm a massive Chargers fan, so that's also what feeds into the Staley thing. And I wanted Tua, and the reason I wanted Tua is because we had just spent money on Brian Bulaga, the right tackle. So I was thinking, it makes sense to spend big money on a right tackle. Left-handed quarterback, because that becomes their blind side. And so you're switching the sides of the field. So I don't really understand the Dolphins.
I'm so glad you were wrong. I'm so glad you were wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be that's not trying to be mean. Yeah. I am so glad you missed that one.
Yeah, that's one of those takes that you don't feel bad that you were completely wrong about.
Yeah.
But, the thing about Tua and the Dolphins is I don't think they're a playoff team either. So I'm just gonna say that I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think the AFC is way too tough. I don't think they're good enough to beat them, but I also do not think Tua is a bottom 30 quarterback.
No, Tua's definitely not a bottom 30 quarterback. I think Chandler his hatred is so strong.
No, it truly comes down to the fact where you look at quarterbacks, and we're doing a 2-minute offense. Who's going to win the game and who's going to lose the game? Who's going to actually make it there? Who's going to win you the game? Who's going to lose you the game? And who's going to keep you the lead if you have it? And if you stack him up with a lot of quarterbacks, I think that Tua loses you the game. It's just coming down to the end of it. The arm strength is a concern. You're playing in in a division where you have to be able to throw the ball. There's no if and or buts about it. You're playing in a league with a division with Josh Allen. I'm sorry, you got to keep up with Josh Allen. If you're not on par with Josh Allen, you are a bottom 30 quarterback. Mac Jones can keep up with Josh Allen. You look at Mac Jones and what he did with the Patriots, the hardest offense to literally learn. He outshined Tua Tagovailoa like it was nothing. Tua Tagovailoa, in his first 2 years, he played 22 games, 8 in his first one, I believe, and 15 in the second one, or I could be wrong, around that area. His stats were like a normal year, and he played 22 games. He had 24 touchdowns and 17 interceptions with 4,000 passing yards in 22 games.
Can I ask you, though, do you not think that the Dolphins deciding to take him out at the end of games ruined his confidence by putting in Ryan
That shows something, though. That shows something. if they don't trust him to run the 2-minute offense, it means he doesn't know how to run the 2-minute offense.
To me, it shows that they're a bad organization, to be quite honest. But that's
That
just
too.
me.
Yeah,
Don't forget they tried to
I
get
think they
Tom
just
Brady.
they tried to win. I don't know, but let's get into our actual show. I don't want to take up too
you're
much
fine.
time.
Yeah,
talking
you're
about
right. You're
this.
right.
Screw
so-
Miami. I'm just kidding. I love the fans sometimes. That's it.
So before we continue, I just want to shout out the sponsor from the Backseat, and that is SeatGeek. So SeatGeek, go ahead and use our promo code from the Backseat, and you get $20 off your first order. Makes ticketing much easier. It's a much greater experience. So make sure to use our promo code. But let's get into our actual show, and we're gonna.
Can I say something real fast? I want to say I'm
Sure.
gonna be using that because I'm gonna be going to Atlanta Braves game next week, so I'm definitely gonna be using your code.
Oh, thank you.
Literally next week.
Nice. Yeah.
For sure. Thank
I don't think it works in Canada because I don't think your guys' codes work in Canada. But I mean, if I can, I might use it.
Yeah, go ahead. For sure, they sponsor the show, so we'd be happy to have you guys use it. But let's get into our first segment, which is called speed dating. So speed dating is a game where I will put up a screen share onto the screen, and you will see stats from 3 different quarterbacks. We'll go 1 through 1, and at the end, you will pick which one you're drafting, which one you're putting your franchise in, just like a GM of a team. These are all quarterbacks, and they were all top 10 picks. Now, you will probably – I tell you what conference they're from to give you an idea whether they were playing in a power smaller conference. So you might be able to figure out who the quarterbacks are. But if you have a guess, you might be wrong, so be careful on who you're drafting. So we're going to get into it. So I'm going to share my screen so you guys can start to see what we are doing. Chrome tab. Here we go. So one thing is I'm not able to see you while I'm on the document. So it's going to be a little bit weird if my reactions seem weird. You guys just got to kind of talk up. So we call this speed dating. So we're going to look at the college stats. So let's go through QBA. So QBA is 6'5", 233 pounds. This quarterback played in the Mountain West, and they were a 3-year starter. During their time in college, they had a 56.2 completion percentage. They had over 5,066 yards. They had a yards per average of 7.8. They had 44 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. So the pros of this quarterback, according to scouts, was he has ideal size. He has a very strong arm and excellent mobility. But the cons, he has accuracy issues. He can't keep control of the ball, and the decision-making needs improvement. So, to you guys, what do you guys think of quarterback A?
He is a risk taker for going for 44 touchdowns with a 56% completion rating or percentage. 21 interceptions is a lot, but 44 touchdowns and ideal size and excellent mobility is very intriguing.
I think definitely, yeah, I agree with that. I think the fact that he's ideal size and very strong arm, probably a pretty big positive, kind of puts him up in like the B+, A+ range for quarterback prospects. So,
okay, so let's go into QBB. So our second quarterback is 6'4", 226 pounds. So the theme you'll see is all of these quarterbacks are pretty much ideal size. This quarterback played in the Pac-12, and they were a 3-year starter. They had a completion percentage of 60.9%. They had 9,340 yards. They had 59 touchdowns and 29 interceptions. Now, their pros, according to scouts, is they were lethal. This person was a lethal pocket passer. They have rare arm talent, and they're able to fit the ball into tight windows. Now, some of the cons is this quarterback is not durable. There is durability concerns. They also question his leadership and if he has the right intangibles to play the quarterback position in the NFL. So what are your initial reaction to QBB?
The 9,000 yards kind of jumps out at me real quick. Makes me think like gotta be some kind of like, I don't know, just a baller. So that's a and the 60%, that tells me a lot. Actually, the 60% seems like he was either playing with some really good receivers or he is very accurate.
Okay.
This is a player that plays in one of the better divisions in college football. So that's important. 9,300 yards is huge. 59 touchdowns. You're just missing that 2-to-1 ratio for touchdowns and interceptions, which is still fairly good. And you can teach leadership.
Okay. So
You
let's
can't
go down.
teach size, and you can't teach rare arm talent.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Sorry, I can't see you guys. I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
just
good.
cut
You're
in.
quite all right. You're quite all right.
All right, so let's go to QBC. So QBC is 6'6", 236. So this is our biggest quarterback. They were a 4-year starter, and they also played in the Pac-12. Their completion percentage was 64%, and they had 10,541 yards while they were there.
Jesus.
They averaged per attempt 8.2, and they had 95 touchdowns to 23 interceptions. So the pros, they can make all the throws. They have a powerful arm and mobility. But the cons, this player is not a commanding leader. They struggled in big games and had a very sheltered upbringing, according to scouts. What is your reaction to QBC?
One of the best college careers you could ever have or ever ask for.
Literally.
NCAA.
So good. That's crazy.
Breaking. Can make all the throws. Powerful arm with mobility. That's great. We're not seeing the excellent part of there, which is a little bit interesting though. Not a commanding leader. Did he ever have the C on his chest? And sheltered upbringing. You see that now with a lot of pros where sometimes you gotta be put to the test to have success.
Yeah, I feel like that I wouldn't want this player in any of the like AFC or NFC nor like the colder regions. I feel like or anywhere where you gotta party a lot or you can party too much, like Miami, at Jacksonville. Even I wouldn't put him there. Like with the Bucks, I wouldn't put him there just because with the whole sheltered upbringing, I feel like that's kind of you could tend to get a little wild once you're more free, and so. I feel like for him to have kind of a good pro career, I would not want him in those cities. Even LA, I wouldn't want him there either.
Okay. All right, so now it's time for you guys to choose one. So let's take it one by one. If you want me to go back through any of these quarterbacks, let me know. But if you guys have an initial reaction of which quarterback you want, feel free to say it.
I think I would go with the first quarterback, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I know exactly who it is actually, but I think I would go with that quarterback.
Okay, and then Chandler.
I was originally going to go with B, but I think I'm going to go with C because you tipped your cap a little bit saying you're a Chargers fan. And I'm just curious, honestly, just for that, because I know Herbert is a tall-ass quarterback. Yeah. I think it is Justin Herbert. And if it is the big old-fashioned Josh Allen in the first one or Herbert, oh, yeah, see? If it is Josh Allen, I'm not wrong.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good.
Yep.
I'll take Justin Herbert any day.
I took Josh Allen. I kind of figured that's who it was. The Mountain West gave it away because I think he played in Wyoming, and I'd rather Josh Allen, to be honest.
And is B Sam Darnold?
It is not Sam Darnold, but you're close.
Wait, is it
Matt Leinart? No,
he's Matt Leinart. Did not play for USC, but drafted the same year as Sam Darnold.
I'm blanking on 2018.
Signed by the Cleveland Browns today.
I just saw this too, and I did not look at the.
Yeah, I did not see this, so I don't know. Who did he play with before?
He played with.
Oh, Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna guess Josh Rosen because I was thinking you were thinking Miami. So they got drafted in the same.
They also tried to replace Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
I just want to say that.
They got drafted in the same year, I'm pretty sure. So they were both
a year before.
Yes.
Was Josh Rosen was the year before?
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he when he went to the Cardinals?
Yeah, Josh Rosen was a year before Tua.
Yeah, and then Kyler.
Before same year as Sam Darnold, or as Darnold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were the same.
Yeah. Okay.
USC and UCLA now both a part of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
All right, and so let's get into your hot takes now. So that was speed dating. I hope you guys had fun with that. So let's get into your hot takes. So let's start off with Chandler. Chandler, what hot take do you have to share?
Had it written down. I want to make sure I say it right, but before I find it, I remember one of them. This one is that the Chiefs' offense will be more explosive this year without Tyreek Hill.
I disagree. But that's a whole different thing. I do not think they're going to be more explosive without Tyreek Hill. They replaced Hill with Juju Smith-Schuster, who's maybe
You're
the
right.
least explosive player.
But
in
don't
the league.
forget, after the second week, apparently, according even to Tyreek Hill, he said that he was begging for the ball and was upset he didn't get the ball. So that means he had to be force-fed for another 16 weeks or 15 weeks. So Patrick Mahomes doesn't like to have to force feed people. He likes to run around 400 yards and throw the ball downfield.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but remember, all the teams changed their defenses to combat Tyreek Hill. They started playing the 2-eye scheme at the start of last year to eliminate deep plays, which is what Tyreek Hill lives on. And then once they figured out how to play the short game, that's when Tyreek Hill kind of exploded.
I agree, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I think they'll have a better run game this year, and David thinks that too.
Wait, okay, don't you think that without Tyreek Hill and you having to be able to spread the field more, even though Tyreek Hill just kind of opened up the field, like at least for like under routes, and because he can just run, he can take the top off and get people underneath, like in the intermediate routes. Don't you think that even with that defenses won't have anyone to be keying on, because one, they can't really key on Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce, this might be a hot take, I think Travis Kelce will have a decline in his play this year. I think he's getting older. It's very hard for tight ends to kind of keep up after a certain age, and I think he's kind of reaching that limit. But I do think that because they drafted really well, and they have so many weapons that they weren't even utilizing last year. They kind of just kept with Travis Kelce. I think Mecole Hardman will have a good year. I think Juju will have an actually surprising year, to be honest. I know that everyone kind of shits on Juju. I don't know if I can swear on this show. Very sorry if I can't.
No,
but
you're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think he will end up having a good year. I don't know if they're going to have a better year than they did with Tyreek.
So my question for you is,
explosive, but I do think Chandler is kind of on the right track. I don't know.
Question for you. Going into his 4th full year as a quarterback, seeing how low he went this year and how upset he was with himself, do we think that Patrick Mahomes can make up 1,200 yards on the offense without Tyreek Hill? Now, don't forget, it's only 1,200 yards. I know that's a lot of yards for one receiver, but you don't think he can span that out between 3 or 4 more options?
I don't think that's really fair, because you really need to take the yards of the entire receiving, because the threat of Tyreek Hill is not actually his receiving ability. It's that he can destroy you on any play. Any play, he can get behind a defender and score from 90 yards down the field. That's really what makes him dangerous. So just talking about, can he make up 1,200 yards? Yeah, they're going to make up 1,200 yards. The yard share isn't going to go away. See, I would agree with your hot take if you said the Chiefs are going to be a more efficient offense.
I think they'll be more explosive, though. I think that they'll probably have more, like, over 20-yard passing plays this year. Truly. Now, I have a question for you. See if we can put you on the hot seat for a second.
For sure.
And you can take a hot take with it, or if you want or not.
Yeah.
Is Tyreek Hill a top 5 receiver?
Yes. Easily.
No.
Easily.
Number
no.
3.
Absolutely not. That is
easily top 5.
He's number 3.
Who's over Tyreek Hill?
Just Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp. They're the only 2 receivers that are more valuable to their teams than. I mean, I think Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase will eventually overlap them. But if we're talking about the current state of the NFL, I don't think there's any receiver above Tyreek Hill besides for those 2 players who affect the game more.
Then how could Kansas City get rid of him?
I mean,
it was a mistake.
Haul.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't want to pay him over $30 million, which Miami did. That's ultimately what it came down to. I mean, they have too many mouths to feed. They pay Frank Clark $25 million. They pay Joe Tooney $20 million as a guard. They pay Patrick Mahomes $50 million a year. They pay Travis Kelce $20 million a year. I mean, they just have too many mouths to feed. At some point, why would the Packers get rid of Devontae Adams? They had to get rid of the salary. They can't pay it with how much they're paying Aaron Rodgers now.
I think that was more Devontae wanted out.
I do think that with this being said, I do think that Tyreek, again, just like Travis Kelce, will start to decline. And I think that's why the Chiefs got rid of him now, or like felt more comfortable to get rid of him now than to have to do it later. And I guess they literally would have had to next year if they didn't now, anyways, because I don't think he would have signed with them again.
Yeah.
And so they did. I think the Chiefs won that trade, even though Miami got the better player. I think the Chiefs definitely won with how much they got back for him.
Well, how about this? I think what you're trying to say, and this is how I explain it, is the Chiefs lost the trade in the short term. They will be a worse team next year. In the long term, they are way better off making this deal. They got good pieces that will fill in their defense, but next year they are not going to be as good of a team. Just because of the threat of Tyreek Hill is too big. Patrick Mahomes now doesn't have a receiver who can run at a 4-2. There's no one that can burn it to use his deep speed. They don't have a deep speed receiver anymore besides for Martez Valdez-Scantling, who had Aaron Rodgers, and they couldn't get him the ball because he drops it. Like,
I mean, Miko's not too bad.
Miko's a 4-2. And then you also have Sky Moore coming in, correct, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Who's also another 4-3. I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't think Tyreek as a pure catching receiver. Like, if you watch Tyreek Hill, he's not the best route runner. He's really not. He's fast. But being route running isn't the only part of it. I mean,
your number one receiver is the best route runner in the game. So
yeah,
and
your number two.
Yeah, the top two are the best receivers or route receivers of the game.
Yeah, but they do
Justin
more
Jefferson is a better route runner. Oh no, I think Cooper Kupp is 90%, and then he's got white boy speed that no one expects. I will say that.
I mean, and Cooper Kupp is just. I mean, I'm going to say he benefits from being in the Sean McVay scheme. Sean McVay knows how to scheme him open. That's what he does. Cooper Kupp runs really good routes, and this is a weird comparison, but I honestly don't think Keenan Allen and Cooper Kupp in their primes are that far off. It's just that Cooper Kupp plays in a much more efficient scheme for his skill set.
Do you think Keenan Allen is still in his prime?
No. Keenan Allen is washed.
I love the quickness of that answer. You've thought about that one for sure.
Oh yeah, we've talked about it.
Oh yeah.
Everyone expects, because I'm a Chargers fan, I'm just like the ultimate honer, and it's like all on this train.
I like it. You're able to see things in a more like non-biased way. I like it.
Well, these people that still act like he's top 10, he's not top 10 anymore. I mean, there are 10 better receivers in the league than him.
Oh, absolutely.
But let's get back to, you were talking about route running with receivers. I want to throw out one receiver who isn't that good of a route runner, but absolutely changed the makeup of the NFL, and that's Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel is now transitioning the NFL into, David, I know that you were running back. They are transitioning it into this wide receiver running back combo to where we can have joint player. I mean, Debo is affecting the league in a much bigger way than people are really giving him credit for.
Yeah,
he's not a good route runner.
And I'll say this, that's why I have hope for Tyreek in that Miami offense, is because they're going to use him in a similar way, because, I mean, the Chiefs kind of used him in a similar way. They just didn't put him in the backfield as much. I don't know if Miami will put him in the backfield, but I think they'll use him somewhat similarly to how they use Debo, like with maybe misdirections and stuff like that. And yeah, I think I'm really high on Debo, to be quite honest. I think his injuries are a little bit like give him less value, I would say. And I think that's why the 49ers kind of struggle to pay him. But I think he is one at talent wise and just like importance to a team. Debo is like up there for the 49ers.
For sure. He's my number 5 receiver in the league. I think Debo Samuel, there's no other player like him, and I
think I have him 4 on my list, but 4 and 5 there.
Yeah, I think Chase is gonna probably overtake him next year. I have Chase at 6 right now.
Yeah.
It's just because I want to see another year of Chase if he can maintain this kind of way, and if it was just a kind of tape thing.
Yeah, do you think defenses, you know how you were saying that defenses kind of started to scheme for Tyreek Hill and kind of were able to, I don't know, mitigate his impact on the game, but do you think Jamar Chase will have that kind of teams kind of scheming the same way?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I just think the rest of that Bengals offense is going to take with them trying to scheme for Jamar Chase, it's just going to open the door for T. Higgins and Tyler.
I think T. Higgins,
T.
yeah,
Higgins
that's
is
what I
gonna
was
have
gonna
a
say. You
massive
got it.
year.
Yeah, you got it. If I was like, I mean, obviously I'm playing fantasy football, but for the fantasy football players, T. Higgins should be like very much on your radar for like drafting because I think even last year he saw such a benefit from
Going to
having
the playoffs.
Jamar Chase and like T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, like even Joe Mixon. I think I think we've talked about this before. They are like in the top 3 for receiving cores right now for teams. Top. Do you think they're number one?
Who competes with that? They're 3.
Raiders, easily.
Yeah, but who's the third receiver on the Raiders? That's
Darren Waller I would say, is the third receiver on the Raiders.
Oh, I guess if we're considering Waller a receiving option,
Receiver core, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
going for the whole.
I see what you're saying. I'm just saying pure receiving core.
Oh yeah, pure receiving core. There's no way you can say anyone else because they literally have 2 like young receivers who are in the top 30 for receivers. I would say like.
I mean, and I think
top
Boyd
20
is right
even.
outside the top 32.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like they I don't know. I think put Justin Herbert in that position. Oh my god, that would be disgusting. That would not be fair at all. But Justin Herbert's kind of I think, and like as a Chargers fan, what do you think of your guys' receiving core? Because I kind of think they might be a little suspect.
I mean, I don't love it. I'm not so I wouldn't have paid Mike Williams. So
that's where I'm getting to is I don't know if Mike Williams is that guy.
I don't like Mike Williams. I've never liked him. I thought it was a bad draft pick from the get-go, especially when you had Phillip Rivers, who didn't need a deep ball guy. If we're going back to when he was drafted, but now in the current offense, Keenan Allen is not top 10 anymore. His reign is over. I mean, he's a really good player. He's still a third down machine. I mean, there's a reason that he had the 4th highest percentage of turning thirds into firsts. He's still an absolute machine in the short yardage. The issue is his speed is so limiting that you just can't access the deep part of the field. Yeah. Mike Williams, all he can do is run flies. All he can do is the 50-50 ball or slants. His route tree is so limited. And to tell you the truth, everyone always talks about best 50-50 ball catcher in the league. I don't even believe that. If you go look at the highlights from Justin Herbert's rookie year, he threw up a 30-yard fade to Mike Williams. In the corner was Bryce Callahan for the Denver Broncos, who is 5'9". Bryce Callahan came down with the ball.
Yeah.
I don't even get how that's possible. No one talks about it, but I'm not a big Mike Williams fan. I think I don't know if he's overpaid just because the Chargers needed to sign him in this window of when they're in championship contention because they weren't going to get a better player than him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't criticize the signing that much because it totally makes sense from a roster building standpoint. This is my hot take. I would rather have T. Higgins than Mike Williams. I think T. Higgins.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think that's a hot take to me.
Actually, hold on. I think T. Higgins is what Juju was when they had AB. He was the best number 2 receiver in the league. And Juju was up there as a great number 2 receiver in the league. But I think if you made T. Higgins number 1, which he was for a little bit, he was that number 1 guy, he did not perform the best. I think that he's gotten better. He
still had over 1,000 yards.
He did, but I wouldn't say he's gonna be a true number 1. I mean,
but
there's
the one
a reason
thing you have to think about also is if we're gonna talk about him as the number 1, they also missed Burrow for half of that season. They had Brandon Allen playing quarterback.
Yeah,
so, great QB. What do you mean?
He's
better than Tua Tagovailoa. He could take the Miami Dolphins to the playoffs.
Jeez.
All right, so let's move on to our next segment. I want to make sure you guys get into our takes. We can return to this afterwards, but I just want to make sure we get through the stuff. So Clark and I, every week, we sit down. We just had our 7th rendition of hot takes. So every week, Clark and I come up with some creative hot takes. So one was Yadier Molina is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Another one is you'll hear in your Smash or Pass, so you can think about it, is New York sports are overrated. Another one is the Anaheim Angels are the most dysfunctional franchise in sports right now, that they can't win a championship with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. So Clark and I try to dig deep into the box to create hot takes that people aren't talking about. So some of these you'll hear from Theo Ash because I know Theo Ash has said them as well. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna play your game, which is smash or pass. So you're either gonna smash our take it on with you, or you're gonna pass it, say no, I don't believe that. So let's start off with our first one, which is my take from about 2 weeks ago, which I know Chandler's already gonna pass. It's Patrick Mahomes is the most likely quarterback to fall out of the top 5 when we're doing lists next year.
Pass.
Pass. Who is
Pass.
your top 5?
So right now, my top 5 is Aaron Rodgers number 1, Patrick Mahomes number 2, Tom Brady number 3, Josh Allen number 4, and Justin Herbert number 5.
So this
Okay.
is where it fails instantly, because Tom Brady might retire and Aaron Rodgers might retire and or just fall off the map and won't have a great as year this year with his less receivers.
He may. But the reason I say out of these quarterbacks is I'm never going to count on Tom Brady retiring until it's officially done and he's out of the league. If he's in the league, he belongs in any top 5 list. Aaron Rodgers is a reigning 2-time MVP. I don't get why people are acting like he's not the number 1 quarterback in the league. He's won the MVP the last 2 years. Just because he doesn't have playoff success, that doesn't mean he's not the best. Now, the reason I point to Mahomes is all of his stats were down last year. Now, people aren't talking about it because it's still an elite level, but regression was there. And we have these young quarterbacks coming into the top 5. We have Lamar Jackson, who's coming back healthy. We have Joe Burrow. We have Justin Herbert. We have Kyler Murray. We have Deshaun Watson. We have all of these young quarterbacks who are going to fight to get into that top 5. And something's got to give them spots. I have no doubt that Joe Burrow is going to be in it next year. Justin Herbert's going to move up. Josh Allen's going to move up. So that means one of these quarterbacks has got to fall out. And the only one that showed regression in the top 5 is Patrick Mahomes. So that's what led me to that take.
Okay, so you're having a game right now. You have a season coming up this year. Year, right? You have to choose 2 quarterbacks, Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. 1 year. Right now. Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes.
It depends on what roster I have.
No, same team. Exact same team. You can play to their strengths. You can't play to their strengths, but you're going to go,
wait,
Tom Brady's going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm just doing 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Right now. Same team.
I mean, I'd probably pick Brady. He went on to a new team.
I also think I'd pick Brady on, to be honest.
Because so your thing is he went to a new team and he made the Super Bowl. Nobody talks about how stacked that team was and how perfect that team was. So stop with that. Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards and 35 touchdowns with that team.
He also threw 30 interceptions and missed.
All right, Gabe. Let's give Jameis a bit
and only threw 5 interceptions the next year. But anyways, you look at Patrick Mahomes. His first year, he played 5. But anyways, you look at he actually played 8 games. He went 7 games, 5-2, and he threw 3 interceptions with 11 touchdowns. You look at Patrick Mahomes, his first year as a starting quarterback, he wins the Super Bowl. So if you're going to say that same argument, you have to use it for both players. His first year, he won a Super Bowl.
No, he didn't. He lost in the AFC Championship game. It was his second year.
Patrick Mahomes.
Second year.
It was his second year. Because he won the MVP his first year, and then no MVP has won the Super Bowl ever. So
since 1999 and Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
I think if you put Patrick Mahomes on, let's say we switched teams and we put Patrick Mahomes on that Tampa Bay team that beat Patrick Mahomes, I think Patrick Mahomes wins that Super Bowl. I think Tom Brady's team was so much better than the Chiefs team as a team. That's when we started to see the Chiefs team decline. I think their O-line was suspect. I think their defense was meh. Like I just feel like that's when we kind of started to see the.
We're gonna talk about a top 5 receiving core. We're gonna talk about the Buccaneers with Gronkowski, Evans, and
I wanna talk about something about my decision on why I'd start Tom Brady. The salary difference. I would rather have $20 million extra dollars to go spend on other players.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes' cap hit is $50 million this year. Tom Brady's is 31. I mean, there's just a big difference for not that much of a quality. I think Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback right now, but he also doesn't have 7 championships.
If you're getting to a top 5, though, I don't think you can talk about contract. That's the other thing. So if you're doing top 5, I would
But
say.
that
based
wasn't
on
your
pure
question.
skill.
Your question.
No.
was who
Okay.
had that level.
Okay. I thought you meant for your top 5. That's why you would choose Tom
No.
Brady.
I'm just no. That's why Mahomes is ahead of Brady. I think Mahomes is a more talented quarterback than Brady, but Brady deserves the respect while he's in the league.
Oh yeah, I think yeah. Okay, let's we can move on if you want to
All
move
right,
on.
let's go on to the move on. This is another one of my takes that I don't know how you guys will feel.
Okay.
So smash or pass. The Lions should be considered dark horse playoff.
Smash.
Pass
Oh,
or
really?
smash.
Lions are making the playoffs.
Absolutely mint take. I think the
Lions are making the playoffs.
Oh yeah. The Lions definitely because we talked about the teams that should like we had a TikTok that was like which team that went 8th can go first in the next or can go back to the Super Bowl or even playoffs in the next year. I think the Lions, if they were in that category, definitely going into this year, Detroit fans should have an immense amount of hope because I think they have the coach. I think they have the only thing they're missing to me is a quarterback. And I think the Chandler too, but I don't know. But to me, I think that's the only thing. And I think Jared Goff is a serviceable enough quarterback
to get
them
to the
or to the playoffs.
Okay, cool. Chandler, do you want to add on, or are we good to?
And Dan Campbell, we stand, and Jared Goff's been to more Super Bowls than Tua Tagovailoa.
True.
Well, there's a lot of people who've been to more Super Bowls. Trent Dilfer has also been there. All right, so next up, smash or pass. The Eagles are Super Bowl contenders.
Smash. Oh, pass.
Oh.
I'm in. Okay, so I have the Eagles winning.
He's an NFC East boy, by
NFC
the way.
East. I am a Giants fan, so maybe this is a little bit of bias, but I just don't think. I think even with AJ Brown going to the Eagles, I don't think that's enough to push them to being Super Bowl contenders. And I'm not too sure about I forget their coach's name.
Stefanski?
No.
What is his name? He was the offensive coordinator for the Colts.
Oh man,
it'll come to
really
me.
It's really throwing me. But anyways, I don't believe in him as a coach. I think he is very iffy in my opinion. Yeah, Nick Sirianni. They did make very big obviously they signed AJ Brown, so that was a pretty big move. But I also think that they are still lacking in certain places that don't necessarily that hold them back. And so I'm not too sure about Jalen Hurts as of right now. I do think he is going to get better, but as of right now, I could not say that they are a Super Bowl contender. I don't know if that's your take either, but whoever made that take, that's a very hot take.
That one was mine.
Okay, hot take, yes.
The reason is I just think their roster is so improved, and the NFC is so weak that at some point probably the Rams and Buccaneers are going to have to play each other in the playoffs, which knocks out the really only 2 viable contenders. So if we come down to it, Philly could be sitting nice. I think they're going to win the NFC East. I think Jalen Hurts is going to take a step forward.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why. All right, next up, Cardinals will miss the playoffs.
Smash.
Oh wow.
Cardinals play the hardest division. Yeah, Cardinals play in the hardest division in the NFC with the Rams and the 49ers. I don't trust Kyler. I don't think he was worth the money. I'll say that right now.
Wow.
He's not.
I also don't think they really improved their roster all that much.
I think it's not nearly as good as it was.
Yeah, I think they got Hollywood Brown, who to me is a very C-list receiver.
Yeah.
I don't think he doesn't have good hands. He's just really fast. And I also don't think D-Hop is in the top 5 anymore. So that's just my take. He's also missing half the season. Yeah. So I just feel like they won't be able to overcome all that. I do think they'll have a pretty decent year. I just don't think it'll be enough to. I think I could possibly see
Cliff Kingsbury. Pretty much that.
I also don't trust Cliff either. I think he's a bad coach.
All right. Next up, the Tennessee Titans will have a losing record.
Smash.
Only because I have a hot take to go with it. Smash.
All right, Chandler, what's your hot take?
I'm a homer, but I explained this to David. The Jaguars win the AFC South.
No.
Yeah,
The
not a
Colts are gonna
chance.
win.
Not a chance. Pass on
Here's
your
the
hot
reason.
take.
Y'all know the reason?
Yeah, sure.
If you go through the Jaguars roster and you look at them stacked up to the AFC South, they either have the best or second best groups compared to everyone. So quarterback, I would take Trevor Lawrence over Ryan Tannehill. I won't take him over Matt Ryan. Running back, their running backs are just under Derrick Henry. Like you would say, that's probably the only one where they might not have the
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
No, I know. No, I think that was the only one I actually said when I sent this message to David. That's the only one, but you can't count out James Robinson, and they have Travis Etienne back, and they will be decent at running back. Their wide receiver core is probably
the Colts'
the best
offensive
in that
line is better than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, but it's B tier. I'm saying they have the first best or the second best group.
Yeah, I know, but I think the Colts have pretty much the best in all. Like, I think the Colts are going to win the division.
I don't think. No, because the Jaguars have a much better wide receiver core than the. Who the hell is Matt Ryan throwing the ball to? Pittman Jr., who can't catch a ball. I mean, their tight end is 45.
I like Pittman Jr., so I can't.
But then you look at the Jaguars defense. I know the Titans probably have the best defense all around, but the Jaguars are up there in defense.
I could even take Indy. I would even take Indy's defense over.
Yeah, Indy's defense not great. I mean, they have one of the best middle linebackers and Leonard.
They
but
also have. They also turn the ball over like quite a bit.
They also have DeForest Buckner, and they just got the dude from the Raiders. What's his name?
And they got Gilmore.
Ngakwe.
Yeah, Ngakwe is washed up. The only reason why he was ever good was he played on the Jacksonville Jaguars and had free runs at the quarterback, and that's been proven because he played on 3 different teams since he played on the 2017 Jaguars. Just throwing that out there.
I mean,
they also have Gilmore.
Nice piece. Yeah, they do.
They also have Gilmore.
But I'm saying the Jaguars have the second best or first best cores in specific areas. Defensive line at the Jaguars, they have a stacked defensive line with Josh Allen coming off the edge as well. I'm forgetting our first overall pick this year. We got Devin Lloyd at our second pick in 21st overall this year too. He's going to be a great middle linebacker. We got the Falcons. I'm not even trying to say his name because I'm going to mess up on it. Middle linebacker from last year. Our defensive backs have CJ Henderson. Yes, Tahua Khan. See, it still messed it up. But yes. we have Griffin, and then we have Tyson Campbell on the outside, and we did upgrade our safeties. I'm not saying we have the best team, but overall, we also have one of the better coaches who's actually won a Super Bowl in our division too.
Don't get Chandler started on the Jaguars. We will be here for hours.
Oh, stop it!
We will be here till at least.
Why don't you talk about how much you love Daniel Jones?
He's all right. I'm not under any spells with Daniel Jones, to be honest, but. Anyway, we'll go to the next take.
All right, everyone. We're going to stay in the AFC South. Davis Mills is underrated.
Yes.
Oh,
smash. Miami makes a play with Davis Mills.
Oh, my God. Davis Mills is so underrated. And I think he deserves a chance to be on a good team. Like, at least have a good receiving core. Even though Brandon Cooks is pretty good.
He is the next David Carr. That's who he is.
David Carr or Derek Carr?
David Carr.
That's interesting.
Never had a chance with the Texans.
Yeah, that's fair.
4,000 times.
That's fair.
I guess I get that. This one was mine. I think Davis Mills is underrated. All right, next up. This is the one I previewed. New York sports are overrated.
As a New York Giants fan, I'm inclined to say yes, but I kind of agree. I think most teams in New York, not that good. Even like basketball.
Knicks are trash. I'm a
trash.
Knicks are
Brooklyn Nets dysfunctional. Yeah, I think I'd smash this.
They can't even. Yeah. It's like
All right, cool. Next up. So this one's mine. This is one I did earlier. So Tom Brady should not have to wait 5 years to get in the Hall of Fame. He should be inducted immediately.
I'll smash that take. Actually, I agree.
I'll pass just because we didn't do it with Peyton Manning.
Well, okay.
Tom Brady's better than Peyton.
That's
a hot take. That's
a pass.
No, it's not. How is
Don't
it?
even. Stop.
owns every passing
we
record
won't even.
and the most.
Oh, he's
Okay,
also
okay.
played like what 6 more years than Manning has.
If we want to go into analytics and if we want to go into anything, you're going to talk about Tom Brady having the best defenses in NFL history every single year he won the Super Bowl. His first 3 Super Bowls, he was not a top 10 quarterback. So we won't even get there. I'm not high on the Tom Brady train. I'll tell you right now. David knows this. I'm telling you right now, Peyton Manning was a far superior quarterback, and everyone would agree with that. I'm sorry. That is a hot take.
I don't know if everyone would, but I agree.
That's fair.
I agree he is a superior quarterback to Tom Brady, only because I think that Tom Brady just benefited from that. He's benefited from the fact that he didn't go for like he obviously was a smart quarterback and a smart guy, knowing that building teams you require people to take sacrifices, and he sacrificed the money and had guys come play for them, and he always had a good team up until he didn't. Whenever he left the Patriots.
Yeah, when they went 11-5.
Yeah, because they weren't building the team properly for him, and I think Bill Belichick definitely was doing that kind of to get Brady out for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just my hunch. But I also think that Brady did benefit from that alone, because again, he was giving up money in order to get guys to come to play with him. Peyton was making guys way better just by being Peyton, and I think. Let's.
Julian Edelman would be the player he is without Tom Brady.
Okay. So here's the thing: when we talk about this, it's kind of like it's apples to apples at some point. Like you're literally going to the very thinnest margins, and I think that Peyton Manning made players better, even though they had to bring guys in through the draft versus bringing in veterans the way the Patriots did. And I think that
I see your point, but if we're gonna talk about comparing like skill level, I mean, it has to be said that Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne on the outside, who are easily both top 30 receivers all time in the history of the NFL.
But do you think they are top 30 without Peyton?
I don't know, but Marvin Harrison is definitely. Marvin Harrison is one of the most talented.
Marvin Harrison was undersized, underweight. He was not supposed to be a good wide receiver in the NFL. So whatever happened there, that is a miracle on turf, like on the field. Because
just because a player is undersized, that doesn't mean that
Julian
Edelman
had
a bad career. That doesn't mean they were gonna have a bad career just because they had a bad quarterback.
No. But I'm saying like you could say Julian Edelman and Marvin Harrison are very similar, except Marvin Harrison
definitely not.
Did it better.
No, Julian Edelman.
I also just don't think Julian Edelman is on that level. To be quite honest,
I mean like for size. I'm talking about like size standards. They're pretty much exactly the same size.
I think Marvin Harrison was pretty tall.
Marvin Harrison was not that tall, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'm gonna look this up because I don't.
Yeah,
believe you.
I don't know. I'm not. Yeah.
Reggie Wayne was tall.
He was 6'1", 180. What was Julian Edelman? It is short. Julian Edelman is 5'10".
What's his weight?
I guess that's not much.
200 pounds. So he has 20 pounds on him. I'm in a boxing fight. I'm taking Julian Edelman over Marvin Harrison.
I don't know. I think to me, if we're gonna let's say we're gonna give Brady, the reason why I actually smash on that take is because Brady has 7 rings. Nobody else has 7 rings. So
I agree.
That's where I would say, I would be okay with that. Plus he's playing till he's like, I don't know, 50 probably. Yeah. So who knows? Like at that point, it doesn't really matter.
He already retired, so can't we just wait till 5 years from this point? But again,
to me, it doesn't really matter because he's
gonna be unanimous anyways. It's not gonna matter.
It's gonna be unanimous, so it doesn't really matter. But I think I can understand where people would say no because Peyton didn't get in right away. Even Joe Montana didn't get in right away. No other quarterback has gotten in right away.
No other player has, but my argument is he is the undisputed GOAT, so he should earn that honor for being the best ever. Until a player surpasses him, then they can get that honor. But the Hall of Fame is meant to induct these great players, and Tom Brady is above all these great players, so he should get an even specialer honor, in my opinion.
He's going to. He will some way, somehow. They'll figure out
Yeah.
some way to make it Tom Brady-esque.
I think it, to me, it wouldn't be a stretch to say he should go right after he retires. But
Well, so I will say this is one thing you didn't bring up, which was said to me right after my hot take. They won't ever do this because he just retired and unretired.
yeah,
You can't
that's
put him
true.
into the Hall of Fame because he's a player, and which I had to concede and been like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair. That does make a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So our last one, and this is just from yesterday's show. So Clark said this yesterday. The Bears and Packers are no longer a real rivalry anymore.
Oh yeah, easily. They're
Smash.
like the thing is, yeah, smash that take. The Packers kind of just slap them around. Literally, Aaron Rodgers is like, "I own you guys." Like, it's nothing anymore. And the deep like the mystique behind it is gone. There's no real sauce there anymore, you know? So I'd smash that take.
I think it goes in waves. Because like the 80s Bears were better than the 80s Packers until the late in when the Packers started to like change their whole forte. But it's just been Packers for so long. And I think the Chicago Bears are one of the most dysfunctional like organizations out there too, that they don't even know what they're doing. Like they're not gonna know what they're doing until they get a quarterback.
I mean,
just like the Cowboys are no longer America's team. That take is kind of in the same vein. I think like it's just like one of those things that like was tradition and now it's no longer true, in my opinion.
Okay. So those have been our takes. So that is the end of all the stuff I have for you. Is there anything you want to talk about before we say goodbye?
Chandler, you can take it away if you would need to.
If you want to join any kind of fantasy football, we do have a fantasy football league we're doing for the podcast. We're doing a paid league or a free league if anybody is interested. That goes out to all your listeners or you or Clark as well. More people, more fun. We can go with as many leagues as we want to. And that's kind of like our goal for this show. And also, if you guys are willing, we want to have you guys on a show for a trivia game with another podcast.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We got it in our calendar. We got it in our booking days. So we are excited to do that. Yeah. Well, so thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for being a part of it. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Really appreciate it for sure.
Of course. So to my listeners, anyone who made it to the end, go ahead, go follow them, go hit up their TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, go listen to their podcasts. They're available on Spotify, Apple Music. They're pretty much available anywhere. So make sure to go check them out. That's What's the Checkdown if you're looking for them. And again, go ahead and leave 5-star ratings on From the Backseat. Make sure you are following our Instagram. Make sure you're following our TikTok. Again, our TikTok is doing really well. So continue to pump us up. Continue to have fun with us. We love talking to you. I've started to go live, so continue to do that. And thank you to all of our listeners, and thank you for this great show. And thank you to you guys, What's the Checkdown, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks again, man.
Appreciate it so much.
It was good talking football with you, for sure.
Of course.